So now we get into chapter 4, and I want to mention that chapter 4 and 5 are on the sin offering. Sin as in S-I-N, Uluwembo, right? So I found this very interesting. God is literally giving certain regulations, different regulations actually, depending on the person who's committed the sin, right? And whether it was intentional or not, you still need to give a sacrifice and offer a sacrifice to the Lord. And it reminded me, it brought out the law. The law actually says that ignorance of the law is not an excuse. So even if you did not know, I'm sure for people who may be driving, you even know that whether you knew that you're not supposed to overtake on a solid line or whether you knew that, my traffic lights, you will still get caught if you did not follow a particular law. And you can't say that, no, I didn't know. And I'm speaking from experience. But ignorance of the law is not an excuse. And so I see it here in the Bible, because the Lord is saying that if the whole Israelite community, for example, sins unintentionally and does what is forbidden in any of the Lord's commands, even though the community is unaware of the matter, when they realize their guilt and their sin has become known, they must bring this particular sacrifice, right? So meaning that there could even be things that perhaps you did unintentionally, but when you come to now know of them and you're now filled with guilt, there's a sacrifice that you need to make. Now, the first thing starts with the priests. So God actually took into consideration that the fact that these priests were anointed did not mean that they could not sin. He actually starts with them. He says, if the anointed priest sins, the anointed priest? Yes, the anointed priest. He even adds that they are anointed, but he still says if they sin, they are to bring a young bull, right? And then they will slaughter it and everything. The anointed priest will take some of that bull's blood, carry it into the tent, dip his finger, and then he will sprinkle blood, right? He will sprinkle it on the sanctuary, put some of the blood on the horns and also at the base of the altar, right? And remember the fat is supposed to be burnt. Everything is supposed to be burnt, but the rest of the flesh of the bull is supposed to be taken outside the camp to a place that is clean and then burn it there. So very specific things for the priest, right? But then he will do the same if the whole Israelite community sinned. You can imagine. But then if the whole Israelite community sinned, they would do something similar, the young bull, but the people who would put their hands on the head of the young bull would be the elders. So the elders would represent the whole community. Then he gives specifications for when a leader sins unintentionally. So for this one, it's not a young bull. This one, the requirement was a male goat. I was like, okay. So this one, it was a male goat. So the leader lays his hands on the head of the goat. They slaughter it in the same way that I've been talking about. Then the priest is the one that will take some of the blood and then pour it on the horns of the altar of the burnt offering and pour the rest of the blood at the base of the altar. And then the fat is burnt. Now, I want to reiterate that the reason why they used to do the hand placing over the head of the animal is to transfer. It was almost as an outward symbol of the fact that I am transferring my guilt, I'm transferring my filth onto this animal, and I am paying this animal so that I may be saved. So it's like a life must be taken, but I don't want it to be my life. So instead of my life, we are now giving this life to be taken and to be burnt before the altar of the Lord, right? And so that's for a leader. But then if any member of the community sinned intentionally, for them, the sacrifice was actually a female goat or a female lamb. So again, they would do the same thing. So the one for the priest, the one for the whole community, the one for the leader, and the one for just an ordinary member were all different. And that goes to show you that, oh my God, it goes to show you that the weight of your sin, all sin people say is the same, right? But the weight of your sin, if you are a leader, the weight of your sin if you're a priest, the weight of your sin if you're a pastor, the weight of your sin, there's a greater responsibility you carry. And God was trying to communicate that if people look up to you, you might not even carry the title of pastor, but people are looking up to you, people are modeling you, and then you come and mess things up. There's a greater responsibility you carry. And that's why this thing where people say, oh no, don't bash these musicians, these gospel ministers. They're also people like us. The fact that they are ministers goes to show that they have a higher responsibility. So we shouldn't see them doing certain things. We shouldn't see them saying certain things because they carry a greater responsibility, right? So this is what the sin offering was for. For those who committed a sin without realizing it, you commit a sin without realizing, you commit a sin out of weakness or negligence, as opposed to just like outright rebellion against God. But both groups were still guilty of an intentional sin. They were still guilty of an intentional sin. So the reason why God had to do this is so that people could be aware of what was sin and what was not. It wasn't necessarily to just put unnecessary rules, but actually he was making them aware. And even as we read these scriptures, as we read Leviticus, it should be an awareness kind of thing.